Hi everyone and welcome to my channel, the STEAMy Mama, for all things motherhood and education. Today is the second video in the Get STEAMy series and we will be making dancing art. So please stick around so we can gather up supplies.
You're a rolling stone, but I'm a cannonball. You're not fooling me, not fooling anyone.
For this activity, you're going to need just a couple of supplies that you may already have in your house. We have expo markers here, then plates that are smooth on the bottom that are ceramic or porcelain. These ones are from the dollar store and they cost $1. So if you don't have any in your house that have smooth bottoms, you can go pick some up for pretty cheap. You also need a cup of room temperature water. You can use really cold water, but room temperature water works best. And then something to dry off the plates with or dry your table off with if there are any spills. Later, I'll give you the enthusiastic steamer extension activity. If you do that, you're also going to need Sharpies and rubbing alcohol. So to make the dancing art, what you're going to have your kiddos do is to draw a picture on the flat surface of the plate right here. So I'm just going to draw a monkey. And what you want to make sure is when they're drawing the picture that you keep the lines pretty simple and connected. If they don't connect, they don't seem to stay together as well when you go to make it lift and dance. So right here I have my monkey, as you can see, and now I'm going to show you how to make it lift off the plate and do a little dance. So now you're going to take your water and you're going to pour it slowly onto the plate till it just covers your drawing. And you can start to see it's lifting right there. If it doesn't lift right away, just kind of have them give it a little jiggle. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Jiggle, jiggle. Oh, we got an ear. Almost, almost. There goes the tail. Okay. And there we go. And now we can make him jump, my little monkey. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I want to be like you. Ooh, ooh. Doo-ba-doo-doo. Walk like you. Talk like you. Ooh, ooh. Don't sue me, Disney. But there you go. So it's kind of a neat little thing that they come up off the plate, and you can do lots of drawings like this. I like to keep a separate cup that's just empty to pour that into when you want to make another drawing. So you're just going to pour it in and you kind of watch. Ah, there he goes. And then you're going to dry the plate off really well. And then you can make another drawing.
Here I made a drawing of a unicorn to test it out. And as you see, when you do really sharp lines, they get kind of big, but it still works out. They just expand. In the next clip, right here, the plate was not completely dry. So you can see that part of him comes up and part of him doesn't. And moves away. That's because the plate's not clean. So remember to clean your plate off and make sure it's dry in between uses. And then finally, here I am trying to do letters to see if I could do a name. And it worked out on the bottom, but not great on the top, as you can see. Another neat thing is you can pick up the pieces that kind of looks like blood, but with the lighter colors, it's kind of neat that you can pick them up, but be sure to have them wash their hands afterwards or use a nice baby wipe.
And now some tips and tricks to help this work for you and your family. So I experimented a lot with this at school with my students to make sure that when I brought it to you, that your family had the best experience possible, because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't work when you try this. So I'm going to tell you how to make it work the first time. So the first tip is make sure that your water is not hot. Hot water will make all of the ink dissolve, which is what the alcohol does when you do the extension activity, but You don't want that for this, especially if you want the pictures to actually dance on top of the water. The second tip is to use only light color expo markers. The dark ones will not come up off of the plate. I don't know the science behind that. I'm going to give you the science behind why the expo comes up, but the Sharpie doesn't. But I don't know why the dark ones don't do it, so because they should be made of the same thing. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, make sure your plates are really, really clean. Once there's like water or dust or anything on them, the expo markers start to grip to those things and then they won't lift up. So if you feel like the plate's still a little bit moist before you want to do another picture, take a paper towel or something, make sure it's really, really dry. Feel it with your hands. Make sure it's really dry before you do another picture. For the reluctant steamer, remember, these are the kids who really get nervous when you're trying to do science or art projects or anything with them. I recommend you drawing the picture first, making sure that all the lines are connected, and then letting them go over it and letting it dry for just a second. Don't let it dry too long because it won't come up. But doing that gives them something to put their hands over, or going hand over hand with them on the plate and letting them practice pouring the water. If they pour the water too fast, it's going to come up really fast, but that's not necessarily a bad thing for this because they're really learning about how these different types of polymers grip or don't grip to a smooth surface. But if you do that, then at least they get to see it happen and they don't have all the pressure of drawing something really cool on the plate, which in my experience with my own students was something that kids were really nervous about, that they weren't going to draw a cool picture, and so their picture wouldn't look as exciting when it popped up off the plate. For your enthusiastic steamers, your kids who love science, there is one really great extension to this project, and it involves the Sharpies and the rubbing alcohol. So you would do everything like you did before. You'd have them draw lots of pictures, have them pop off the plate, and experiment with different colors. You might have them use the darker colors and see that that doesn't work, but then also have them draw on the plates with Sharpies and see that it doesn't wipe off and that it doesn't lift up off the plate. And then add the rubbing alcohol, and the rubbing alcohol is going to dissolve the picture. So it's a really neat kind of extension piece. Then you can have them research why the alcohol takes the Sharpie off and makes it dissolve and kind of disappear versus the water that just lifts the expo marker off the plate, or the water doesn't affect the Sharpie at all.
So right here I'm going to try the extension activity. First, I'm going to draw a stick man with the Sharpie marker. You'll want to rub to make sure he doesn't come off. I've already done it a couple of times, so I didn't do that in this clip. Then you take rubbing alcohol. This is just what I have laying in the house. And you pour it on top. And you can see some of it dissolves immediately. And you can kind of see up at the top where the rest is starting to dissolve. Normally in a warmer room, it will dissolve faster than this cold room that I'm in.
Now it's time to explain the science behind everything. Dry erase markers are made with an oily silicone polymer. This acts as a release agent. So imagine that this molecule is from the dry erase marker and this molecule is from the smooth surface. Well, they are sitting together on an airplane. Whoop. Now, it's perfectly fine that we are together on this airplane, but we do not need to touch. Not at all. That's how I explain it to students. If you don't have a child that's been on an airplane, you can also explain it as a molecule here, dry erase molecule, and then the smooth surface molecules are here, and they're at a football game or some type of game, and this one sneezes. And now my friend here doesn't want him to touch him. He's okay to still be sitting there, but they don't want to touch. They don't ever want to be bonded together. They're a release agent. They don't ever bond to what they're on. Now, permanent markers like Sharpies are made of acrylic polymer. And acrylic polymer is going to be a bonding agent. So imagine that the permanent marker molecules and whatever you're writing on's molecules are best friends, and the other friend said that they're going to move, but they're not going to let them move, and they just stick to them like glue. Think of them as BFF or clingy. And that's really it. One marker is a release agent, the other one is a bonding agent, and it's all based off of what they're made out of, and that's why it works.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Get Steamy Volume 2. And if you like these types of videos, please leave a comment below, like and subscribe, and go ahead and ring that bell. Let's stay in touch. Follow me on Instagram at the Steamy Mama, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Can we switch up all the